Good afternoon. This is the Planning Advisory and Adjustment Committee. I'm going to turn the meeting over now to our chair, Mr. Romeo Levisser.
Thank you very much, Colleen, and good afternoon to one and all. Welcome to the Planning Advisory and Adjustment Committee of November 16th. 18th? Okay, 18th. So a couple of days I lost here during the week, I guess. Anyways, we have a short agenda tonight, but an important one. And as I said, I welcome all of you, the listeners and the viewers. Just want to introduce the members of the committee and staff. First of all, Bob Hughes, Vice Chair. And we've got Councillor Christine Reevy. And we've got Tanya Saint-Amour. She's not here, but she is a member. She's off. And then Marie-Josée Levesque, who's with us electronically. Good afternoon. And then we've got Owen Hutton, our planning technician and recording secretary. And of course, the lady that makes sure that everything runs, Colleen Sorio, our manager of planning, building, and bylaw. I'll call this meeting to order. At this particular time, let's have a look at the agenda. Approval for the agenda, or any items or that should be deleted, or any items moved around and so on. Okay, seeing none, I would accept a motion to accept the agenda as it is. From Christine Reevy, moved by Councillor Reevy, seconded by Bob Hughes. All in favor? Carried. The minutes of the Planning Advisory Committee meeting of Wednesday, September 23rd, have been circulated, and you've had an opportunity to go through them. Are there any items that were missed or should be added, or any comments on those minutes? Seeing none, I would ask for a motion to accept the minutes as presented, moved by Marie-Josée Levesque, seconded by Bob Hughes. Further comments? All in favor? Carried. Disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof, with the business being conducted this afternoon. Are there any items in which members feel that they must declare a conflict? Seeing none, then we'll carry on. New business, the first item is an application, a zoning bylaw application at a property located at 467 Pembroke Street West. And at this particular time, I believe Mr. Lubitz is present.
Yes, he is.
So fine. I would ask the planner for her report.
Okay, so the proposed zoning bylaw amendment would change the zoning of the land municipally known as 467 Pembroke Street West from a residential type 2-33 zone to a residential type 3-19 zone. So the applicant is proposing to rezone the property to allow an addition to the existing building, and that would accommodate a total of 4 dwelling units at 467 Pembroke Street West. The property was rezoned in 2018 from a commercial zone to a residential zone, permitting 2 dwelling units. Presently, the existing building accommodates 2 apartment dwelling units with no commercial use. The city's official plan presently designates the land as residential, and this was changed in 2018 from central commercial to residential. But again, it is designated residential, and the predominant use of the land is for all types of dwelling units. New residential classifications shall be located within close proximities to schools, parks, shopping, and places of worship. And it is in close proximity to schools. It's near the Equinox French Public School and Algonquin College. It's located close to the Waterfront Park and Kiwanis Walkway. It's within walking distance to the downtown core for shopping, and places of worship that are close by are Holy Trinity Anglican Church and St. Columbicus Cathedral. The official plan also states the intent of the plan is to develop neighborhoods with a mix of housing types designated to meet a range of housing needs. And presently within this area, there are existing residential uses within the same block as 467 Pembroke Street West. Within the 120-meter circulation distance, there are several multi-residential dwelling units already in existence. Directly beside 469 Pembroke Street West accommodates 4 dwelling units. Within the 120-meter radius, the following properties have 3 or more dwelling units: 320 Lake Street, 164 Christie Street, 469 Pembroke Street West, 490 Pembroke Street West, 478 to 484 Pembroke Street West, 423 Pembroke Street West, and 250 Christie Street. The form and development will generally be compact, energy efficient, and fully serviced. Based on the above information, and by adding an additional 2 dwelling units, it would meet the intent of the official plan. The property is bounded to the south by existing commercial uses, the Remax office and a commercial plaza, as well as institutional uses, which is a student residence at 478 to 484 Pembroke Street West. It is bounded to the north, east, and west by existing residential units, many of which are multi-residential units. The property directly to the west, again, has 4 dwelling units, and the proposed use of the building containing 4 dwelling units would again be compatible in the neighborhood. Based on the site plan provided, the following setbacks were deficient in the 2018 rezoning application. So it was dealt with in 2018, the reduced front yard depth and the reduced interior side yard. And at that time, there was no addition proposed to the building. Now, with the addition proposed to the building, the following areas require relief. So lot area, so there was a requirement of a lot area of 7,997 square feet, and the existing lot area is 7,590 square feet. Lot frontage is supposed to be 80 feet, and there's 66 feet shown. The interior side yard for the existing building and the proposed addition will be 2 feet instead of the required 10 feet, and the landscaped open space would be 21% instead of the required 30%. The exterior side yard, rear yard, lot depth, building height, and minimum dwelling unit area for each apartment are met. The zoning bylaw requires a 700 square foot unit size, and the applicant is proposing each unit would be 1,000 square feet. Regarding the reduced landscaped open space, the city's waterfront park is located within very close proximity to the property, so the remaining landscaped open space could be handled there. The zoning bylaw requires 1.5 parking spaces per dwelling unit. 6 parking spaces would be required, and the site plan does show 6 parking spaces can be accommodated. Therefore, the parking requirements are met. The building is serviced with municipal water and sanitary sewer. However, according to the operations department, additional servicing will be required. A second sanitary sewer will be required off Monroe Street, and a larger water line will be required to service the proposed 4-unit dwelling house. These servicing issues will be addressed in the site plan agreement. The provincial policy statement states that healthy, livable, and safe communities are sustained by affordable and market-based range and mix of residential uses. In this rezoning application, there is a mix of residential uses in the existing neighborhood, as well as parks and schools nearby. Also, the provincial policy statement states that land use patterns within settlement areas shall be based on densities and a mix of land uses which are appropriate for and efficiently use the infrastructure and public service facilities which are planned for or available, and they avoid the need for unjustified or uneconomical expansion. The applicant is proposing to create 2 additional apartment units for a total of 4, where water and sanitary services already exist, and new services are along the street and will be added to ensure proper servicing for each of the 4 units. Further, the provincial policy statement states that planning authorities shall identify appropriate locations and promote opportunities for transit-supported development, accommodating a sufficient supply and range of housing options through intensification and redevelopment, which can be accommodated by taking into account the existing building stock or areas and availability of suitable existing or planned infrastructure. The proposed development would provide additional apartment units to the city's downtown core, thereby promoting a mix of residential uses in the area, and it would appear to meet the intent of the provincial policy statement. So based on all of this information, the planning department is recommending the rezoning to the Planning Advisory and Adjustment Committee, with relief being granted for the lot area, the lot frontage, interior side yard, and landscaped open space. The proposed use is compatible with the neighborhood, since there are many multi-unit residential dwellings within a 120-meter notice area, and the application has regard for the provincial policy statement. A site plan agreement will be required to ensure proper servicing is provided to the development.
Well, thank you very much, Colleen. That's actually pretty straightforward. Very good report. Haven't heard the planner present the application. Has there been any comments, pro or con?
No submissions or inquiries were received.
Okay, thank you very much. So that makes it clean from that perspective. And Mr. Lubitz, you heard the planner present the application. Are there any comments or anything you'd like to add at this time?
No, I believe Mr. Oil did a great job at summarizing the application. I'm here and willing to answer any questions that any of the members may have.
Okay, very good. Okay, I'll pass it on now to members of the committee for their comments or questions. We'll start off with Marie-Josée. Any questions or comments?
I had a question about the definition of an addition. So what is the definition of an addition? Because it seemed to me that this was a separate building that was just attached to the existing structure.
I didn't quite pick that up. Did you, Colleen?
I think I did. I think so. So I think the question is this an addition? What constitutes an addition? It's just a separate building attached to. No, I believe that it would be considered an addition to the building because it would be attached to the building. Bob maybe can add a little bit more to that from a building code perspective. I'm not sure, but we would consider it as an addition.
Bob, could you comment that based on your past experience as the building inspector?
No, it becomes, an addition is just, that's what this is considered. It's attached to the other building, so it's considered an addition. It has a firewall at that point and fire separation there. Yeah.
Does that satisfy your query, Marie-Josée?
Yes, I was just curious.
Okay, any other comments?
No.
No. Okay, pass it on to Councillor Christine, comments, questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Lubitz, this property has seen different faces over the many years that I've been around. I was raised in that neighborhood. So my question is, the diagram that we received in our package indicates that the ramp is still existing on the front of, I guess, the two units. Is that one unit an accessible unit? And if it is still that, great. Do you have any plans to make the ground floor unit of the new addition accessible as well?
Perfect. Yeah, great question. So actually, yeah, we're going to keep the wheelchair access available for the top unit. And what's very unique about the property at 467 Pembroke Street is it actually is walkout at the top and walkout from the bottom because of that steep incline on the hill. So both units currently are wheelchair accessible for any of the renters that I may rent to, as well as when I do build an additional 2 units, if approved, the bottom unit will be a third accessible. So 3 out of the 4 units will be accessible.
That's really good news. We need so many more of these types of dwellings within the city. So thank you for that consideration.
Okay, very good. And Bob, your comments?
Actually, I have no comment. Actually, I have no comments. It's a good use of that property, and we have, as was mentioned before, we've seen that property quite often over the years. Anyway, I have nothing to say.
Yeah. Yes, it has changed over the years. Now that you mentioned it, Anyways, thank you very much, Mr. Lubitz, for your comments. Is there anything else you want to add before I put the question to the committee?
I just want to say thanks for having me. And yeah, as a local resident here in Pembroke, I'm just happy to invest back into Pembroke. This is the second house that I purchased. And since COVID, it's really given me the opportunity to, come back and really make the most out of Pembroke while I'm here.
Good. Thank you very much. There's no one in attendance at the meeting here, but I think I have to make a note in the minutes that there was no one in the attendance that spoke for or against the motion. Okay, at this time, I would ask for a motion to approve this zoning application. Moved by Bob, seconded by Christine. Councillor Christine, further comments? If not, all in favor? Put your hand up, please. Carried. So, Mr. Lubitz, this has been carried. So we are an advisory committee, and because this is a zoning change, we don't have the final say on this. What we do now is recommend this to City Council. So it'll be, if you can make sure that you attend, that there'll be a public meeting on Tuesday, December 1st at City Hall at 6 o'clock. And Councillor Christine Reevy, who is our connection to Council, will be there to present the application and provide any information from this committee. And at that particular point, then I'll ask the planner to explain to you that if Council says yes, and I can't see why they won't, but we won't prejudge their decision, there is a waiting period and so on. And perhaps our planner could explain that to you.
Sure. So on December 1st, it would be in your best interest to possibly be at the meeting virtually. And council will host the public meeting, and then they will debate the bylaw later on in their meeting. So if the bylaw is approved, there's a 20-day appeal period in which anyone can appeal. And if there are no appeals, then the bylaw is final, and then we can start working on your site plan agreement. And then you can start, once the site plan agreement is signed, then you can apply for a building permit. Secondly, if there is an appeal, then the whole file has to be sent to Toronto to the LPAT, the Local Planning Appeal Tribunal, and then we would wait to hear from them to get a hearing date. But seeing that there's been nobody at this meeting, we'll see what happens at the December 1st meeting. And if there's nobody in attendance, then chances are there won't be any appeals.
Okay, now if you have any questions, after this meeting, don't hesitate to contact the planning department. They're there to assist you with this. This is a nice project, and we're very pleased to be able to support your application. But remember, the meeting on Tuesday, December 1st, right here at City Hall. Okay. Well, thank you very much. This particular section of the meeting is now over. Thank you very much, and now we will carry on to past decision updates. First of all, the 3rd Avenue property, Mr. Sutton.
Okay. So the 3rd Avenue property was a rezoning to permit 3 dwelling units, and that has been approved, and there's been no appeals for that particular application. Okay. And in regards to the second one, 482 Boundary Road, you'll remember that was approval you were looking at for a kennel. And it was tabled because the committee asked for a noise study just to ensure that the dogs outside wouldn't be, providing any kind of noise issues for surrounding neighbors. And Mr. Hinch, the applicant, has not yet submitted a noise study. So as soon as a noise study is submitted, it will be brought forward to this committee, and then you can lift the application from the table and then discuss again. And I will give you the noise study in advance, but at this point, we haven't received anything. So.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I guess that concludes much of the business for this evening. Our next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, December 16th at 4:30.
Yes, and we already have a rezoning application for that meeting, so there is a meeting on that night.
Okay, very good. And Owen, have your phone ready. Anyways, thank you very much, members of the committee and staff. a good meeting. I think that that's a great, it was a great application. Looking forward to, nice to see young people getting involved in the business end of things. And we wish you the best of luck with that, Mr. Lubitz. Okay, this meeting is now adjourned.